In Coyoacan is the Blue House, La Casa Azul, the family home of Mexican artist Frida Kahlo, where she lived with her family and husband, artist Diego Rivera. The queue was quite long, so I recommend buying tickets beforehand. It's also a good idea to purchase the ticket that allows you to take photos. The house is typically Mexican, surrounded by a high wall with a large internal courtyard garden. In 1958, Rivera donated the house to Mexico as a museum. Inside the house is a collection of their work. The living room exhibits several of the artist's lesser-known paintings. A family portrait. This is a painting of her father, a photographer. Frida was disabled by polio as a child, then further traumatised at the age of 18 when she was in an accident and impaled by a metal handrail that meant she had to wear body braces and casts for the rest of her life. Frida painted many portraits and self-portraits. Frida and Diego had a collection of more than 1,000 ex-photos. These are images offered to a saint or the Madonna as a thank you for an answered prayer. Frida would often use elements of these paintings in her own work. This one shows Leon Trotsky, second from left. The kitchen's decorated with yellow and blue tiles, traditional pottery and handcrafted utensils. The dining room shares the kitchen's colour scheme and is decorated with similar artefacts. Diego's bedroom is next to the dining room. Many of his belongings remain here, including the hats and coveralls he would have worn when painting his fresco murals. Diego built Frida's studio so that she could continue her work. On the easel in front of her wheelchair is an unfinished painting called Still Life with Flag. She had a writing desk and an area for her easel where she'd paint in her wheelchair towards the end of her life. Her paints, brushes and pigments are all laid out still. Along the walls of her studio is her collection of books. Frida's four-poster bed was installed with a mirror on top so she could still paint her own self-portraits. Sitting on her little day bed is Frida's death mask. Frida not only painted, but she also created sculptures and other artworks which are seen here in her bedroom. On her nightbed is a pillow, embroidered like the one in Diego's room, with the words, "Do not forget me, my love." This cabinet contains an extensive collection of her childhood toys. Opposite her daybed are the stairs which lead back down to the garden. This is the reflecting pool, where Frida may have come to sit and contemplate. The garden is a place of tranquility, and it's inspirational in its colours. This is the Ofrenda to Frida Kahlo. It's like an altar set up specially for her. An ofrenda is a collection of objects placed on ritual display during the annual Mexican Dia de los Muertos celebration. Frida's one is quite large and elaborate. These amazing skeletons were like puppets, and they would move with the parts connected by strings. Near the courtyard is an exhibition room of Frida's personal items. They were only discovered in 2004 when some of the locked rooms were opened. Frida liked these Tijuana dresses from the Oaxaca region. The corsets show us how much pain she must have been suffering through every day. Her shoes had to be built up because one leg was shorter than the other. The house is a good way to get a peek into her personality.
Hello comrades, I've just finished reading the paper and I see that the 3 other amigos is up the road visiting Frida. I've left a note on their car to come down here and have some tacos with me. I know they love the tacos. I've even got some muesli in for Pepe because Pepe loves the muesli. See you soon, muchachos. Goodbye, comrades.
We left Frida Kahlo's house and headed for the house of Leon Trotsky, not far away. This is the house where Leon Trotsky lived with his wife and in which he was assassinated in 1940.
A ver, vas aquí.
Inside the entrance are photographs, newspapers and personal effects of Trotsky and his family. There are dozens of black and white photos of Trotsky and Natalia, his wife, with celebrity friends such as Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo. There are photos of Trotsky collecting cacti in the Mexican countryside and tending the garden along with the rabbits and chickens, which were in the hutches and coops that still exist. The garden area is very serene and still maintained with tropical flowers and rare cacti. And there are watchtowers on the high outer walls. Although the compound is spacious, the house is relatively austere and quite dark. This was the workspace for Trotsky's 2 secretaries. On the back wall is an old Edison dictating machine. Trotsky's bedroom has shutters made of thick plates of steel with concrete in between. Trotsky's grandson was sleeping in this room and shot in the leg when a group of assassins entered the compound in May 1940 in a failed assassination attempt. Thick steel doors separate the rooms. Alongside the bedrooms is a long, narrow bathroom. The bathroom, Trotsky's bathroom.
This is the shower?
Yes.
Or whatever it is.
Yes. It is quite modern, really. He worked.
Aquí trabajaba 10 horas al día.
And he's got a bed. He worked 10 hours a day.
This also was the scene of this Russian revolutionary final fight with his assassination.
This is still the garden of Trotsky's house. It's really lovely, but very dark inside and lots of reinforced metal doors, but they never saved him anyway. He was assassinated with a pickaxe in the back of his neck, back of his head, by one of his visitors. But it's like a fortress. Half the windows are covered in concrete. Look at this beautiful wall. Wow. This is his house. That was a little doorway to one of the bedrooms of his grandson. And they came here in 1940 with machine guns and shot, but they didn't manage to kill Trotsky, but they wounded his grandson in the leg, in the foot. We'll keep the red flag flying here. That's quite something. Set in a beautiful garden. These are the watchtowers. When they had the first attack, they built these watchtowers. It surprised us that Trotsky's house was not as popular as Frida's, but they're both definitely worth a visit.